All right. Okay, so market is about to open here. Let's make sure that I have volume and stuff. Okay. So it looks like we're live. Welcome everybody into the Pro Member Stream. It is now Wednesday, April 5th, 2023. So welcome into the brand new quarter and the brand new month of the year. And, obviously the market's been a little bit up and down this week. I'm going to just go into the NASDAQ here and show you guys that Monday we had a slight down day, but the market dropped and moved up. Tuesday, yesterday, the market actually was fairly okay. I mean, it was actually a little bit sideways for a little while, up until about 1:30 p.m., and then the market started dropping significantly afterwards with a slight rally. Look at this, guys. This last 15 minutes of the day yesterday was a big rally. So now that things are opening up quite well, you can see that NVIDIA, for example, is starting very, very low here. So this could potentially be a short position. I'm going to go ahead and actually do that right now. So I'm going to, hold on one sec, guys. Hold on. Let me switch this over here. And NVIDIA. So guys, let's find some setups here. Everybody, let me know in the comments the stocks that you guys are watching right now. Tell me which stocks you guys are getting into and which trades you guys are watching, because the market has just opened. And so we want to make sure that everybody's going out in the market right now and finding opportunities. Now, what are we looking for? We're looking for stocks where the yellow and the purple line are close together, right? And I'm going to show you guys this setup here pretty soon. So don't worry if you guys don't know it yet. Roku looks pretty good. It's breaking that support level down there. That's looking pretty good. But guys, what do I really want here? I want a stock where the price is still close to these moving averages. So for example, NVIDIA would be a great short trade, but the only problem is that that candlestick is not very close to the yellow. There's still a big space right there. So there's a lot of room for the stock to move up. And remember, I want to short this stock downward. So I'm going to kind of wait on that a minute. Same thing with JP Morgan, right? It's too far away from that yellow line. So I'm going to look for things that are down, right? But they're also still close to that yellow moving average there. So let me go through my setups here. Oh, look at this, guys. Johnson & Johnson opened really high up today. It's up about 3% on the day. And it looks to be dropping towards that support level right there. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and actually short Johnson & Johnson here. I'm going to see if I can maybe make a play on that to the downside. I'm going to actually take my stop and put it up above the bar of the first bar right there. And I'm going to try to play this to the downside and see if I can make a little play off of this. So that'll be my first trade of the day. Johnson & Johnson, I'm getting short there at 163.18. So I'm going to be trying to play this down. And by the way, guys, the stop loss on this order is going to be at 164.49. So I still have a little bit of room there to give the stock to kind of breathe and to fall back. But I do have the stop loss up there as protection just in case it reverses on me. But anyway, we got this big gap here. And so I'm playing this as if it's going to go fill this gap here. So I'll see if I can make that happen. And I'll see if I, can actually get the drop there, or else it'll just stop me out and it'll, the reversal won't be too bad or anything like that. Okay, so NGL had a big open there. It's a little bit of a reversal going on. So we'll see how this one plays out. Yesterday NGL did pull back very slightly. So it was down about 0.31% on the day. This is that stock that Congress member had bought into. But I want to be a little bit careful because we might have a slight, I don't know, the OPEC plus cuts and everything was great for oil for about a day. And then yesterday, a lot of oil stocks pulled back. They ended up recovering a little bit later on, but ultimately a lot of these oil stocks and energy stocks pulled back, and the same thing happened with NGL. Nothing wrong with NGL, just the fact that the entire oil and energy sector was pulling back pretty hardcore yesterday. So my question is do we still have takeoff from here, or does the stock want to pull back into that $2.50 range and maybe get another bounce lower? So really kind of depending. I might cancel this trade and maybe do it a little bit later on, just because I'm in at 328. It's sitting at 318. So yeah, it's a little bit tough. 330. I could always set up a little limit order here just in case, but who knows? I guess we'll kind of see what happens with it throughout the rest of the day. But yeah. Okay, let's go back into that Johnson & Johnson short position. Okay, so that first bar right there, big solid green. So that's basically like a red, right? Followed up by another hollow green. So I'll see if I get the turnaround right here. But because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my stop and now lower it above the high of the newest bar that we got there. So I want it to actually start reversing here. And if it doesn't, it's going to just stop me out of the trade. But hopefully I can kind of get that pullback action here very, very soon. And we'll see J&J break those lows and continue lower. But if not, I got that stop loss in place. And actually, I might actually put this back up at my original. I don't think it's time to move it quite yet. But I will. Actually, I think I am going to have it right there. So one thing to watch out for, guys, is that if I get this big solid bar right there, I'm supposed to be getting more reds after that, right? So just the fact that I got this big solid green bar and then there was no follow through with red, that kind of tells me everything I need to know. That tells me that this is not a great short position. So I'm gonna stop out of the trade there. Okay, and I want to try something else actually instead. Bank of America looked pretty good. Okay, let's flip through. So look at Tesla, right? That's exactly what I meant right there. It was really close to the yellow line. Microsoft is close to the yellow line, but we have a lot of support right there. So Microsoft's a little bit messy. American Airlines looks pretty good too. So see this? See how the stock has come up and now we're starting to get those red solid candles forming near the yellow line. So that could potentially be a good setup. Now, I don't personally like to trade American Airlines. I think the volume is way too low. So I'm probably just going to stay away from there. Okay, so here's Coinbase. A little bit messy as well. I don't know if I like that one as much. See that? See that right there, guys? Johnson & Johnson still climbing, right? That's why I stopped out the trade because I knew that we're going to keep climbing here. And yeah, that's a good time for me to stop myself out of the trade there. So that was a great time to stop myself out. Okay, so Oxy has been a little bit weird. NGL is still pulling back a bit here, so it's down about 0.9% on the day. So we're hitting a little bit of resistance here. I'm hoping that we could turn around a little bit by the end of the day, or maybe sometime throughout the day. I could maybe pull back a little bit and try to grab a little bit of profit here. But ultimately, the stock might, like I said, pull back a little bit. So it might be better for me to just exit out of this and, you know, try to get a better entry if the stock is going to continue pulling back, right? So I think that like one of the things for me when I'm trading is I want to see, okay, look, I'm buying in because I think it's going to go up. And if I buy in and it's not actually going up, it's doing the opposite, then I was simply wrong about my assessment or about my theory on the stock. And so in that event, when that happens, I try to make sure that I'm getting out of that trade because I was wrong. I only really want to stay in the trades that I'm right about. I don't want to stay in the trades that I'm wrong about. So anyway, I'm going to see what else I can maybe make happen here. Here's Bank of America dropping out at the downside. So we got some pretty significant price action coming in here, guys. But I like this Apple trade right here because the stock is coming up. So, okay, so I think I'm going to try to get in short on Apple instead. So 164.99. Okay, so there's my first limit order right there. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the trade a little bit early, 165.10. So now I'm going to set up some limit orders here on Apple. And I'm going to try to go for this trade instead to the downside. Okay, so as you guys can see, I have my orders set up in advance, and I don't need to do anything here, okay? So I've already got everything set up in advance. I don't need to, if the stock comes up a little bit more, it's going to start triggering these orders, and it will, it'll basically trigger the order automatically. So it's going to add to my position, makes my position larger, because as the stock comes up, it's going to trigger these orders, and now my short position is larger because the orders have been triggered and they're executed, they're filled. So as the stock kind of comes up a little bit, what'll happen is it triggers these orders and gets me into the trade a little bit further. So hopefully we can get the stock to move up a little bit and trigger those, and then we get a reversal there up towards the yellow line. Because remember, I want to try to enter into my trades near this yellow line, right? That's kind of the point of what I'm doing here. So anyway, I'm going to see if we can maybe get that going. And I'm going to leave my limit orders up here just in case the stock rallies a little bit. I'll be able to grab a bigger position as well. And I'll see if there's a way I can maybe, you know, get into these stocks. All right, so here we go. New trade on Apple. I'm going to go ahead and short this stock as well. And this is going to be at 164.86. All right, 164.86. It's been a new trade for the day. All right, so I've got the limit order right there at 164.90. I got another limit order at 165. I should be at 05. 165.05 is my next limit order right there. And so if the stock kind of comes up a little bit more, it'll trigger that order up above, and I'll be able to maybe even short the stock more and play it to the downside. But however, I want to see the stock rising a little bit more because we're still a bit far from that yellow moving average right up there. So I just hit my limit order right there. I'm going to go for 165.20 as well as my new limit. And there's my, I guess, whoops, not 20. I meant 15. And I'll see if I can hit 15 as well. But yeah, I've went ahead and I set up this short position. As the stock is rising a little bit, what I'm doing is I am going ahead and increasing my position size because we have all of this resistance right there. See, the stock is rallying up into a level of resistance. And so if that gets a bit closer here, you know, I'm willing to add into the position because it's going to increase my size at a better price. My entry goes up higher, which is better when I'm shorting the stock, right? So we'll see how this plays out here. Apple to the downside, guys. Make sure, okay, everybody should have their practice account. Everybody should have their demo account, whatever you want to call it. Everybody should be practicing their trades, okay? So everybody in the comments, let me know the trades that you guys are watching, the stocks that you guys are paying attention to right now. Let me know in the comments. Let me see you guys, everybody in that chat room, what you guys are watching right now, okay? If you're not watching anything, just say, I'm just watching. I'm just watching you, fool. Okay, maybe some of you guys are just watching me. That's okay, too. I'm just wondering what you guys have your eyes on right now. Okay. Nice little reversal there on Apple, guys, as you can see. All right, as this trade is going, I am gonna go to some other stocks and start building out my watch list. So gold is right up in resistance now, guys. It just blew past my $19 price target. It's almost at $20. So it's even better than I expected. It's up another 1.53% on the day. And, you know, gold has gone up quite a bit. So, you know, right now, is it a good time to buy? Well, technically, no, because we have this big, long cup and handle pattern now, I suppose. So it filled the gap, just like I told you guys would happen. And now this is gone too. We have this big cup and handle pattern here, so we'll see how that plays out. So that's definitely going on my trade setups list, April 5th, 2023, right? Yeah. Okay, what else do we got going on? So Procter & Gamble, this is also a big basing pattern that's forming here. Almost like a inverse head and shoulders or something, right? If you guys can kind of see that pattern I'm talking about right there. So I guess we'll kind of see how that plays out. But yeah, you know, Verizon is about to start breaking through. That would be a bullish breakout right there. So I'm definitely going to add that into the watch list as well. Wow, I need to delete some of these watch lists, guys. This is getting a little bit messy here. So Oxy broke out, but a very weak breakout, right? So it popped, pulling back slightly here, which is interesting. Well, I guess kind of see how that plays out. NVIDIA up into the resistance, and we're finally getting that big drop on NVIDIA, kind of like I told you guys, you know, we just got to be patient on these setups here. Because this stock has gone all up about 150%. It's up in resistance, and now we're starting to get that drop. But this also happened earlier last week where the stock did drop and then recovered in a big way. So NVIDIA, this is the second day of dropping. I guess we'll kind of see how that plays out. But look, you know, this stock is really dropping out, and we did leave a gap, remember, over here about a couple months ago. So we'll see if NVIDIA wants to pull back and maybe fill this gap, because if it does, we're looking at, you know, even if I get in now, I'm looking at a 17 to 20% upside on that trade if it falls down and fills that gap and I'm short. Okay, let's see what else we got going on. Intel, so that broke out of the basing pattern. I already told you guys about that. Match group not looking too good. So what about Apple here, right? Apple is up in a pretty significant area of resistance, right? So this stock here, right, we want to be a little bit careful because, yes, it did break out of this pattern. We had a bull flag that it broke out of. So this thing has been really bullish lately, and it's really broken out in a big way until we're up in this resistance. So I'll kind of see how it responds to this level. But yeah, look at this big dropout on Apple, by the way. I'm going to go ahead and lock in a little bit of profit, I think, on this trade. I'm going to lock in a little bit here. Bam. There's a little bit of profit that I just locked in. Okay, closed 1/3 of my Apple short trade. So we're up in the money on this one, guys. Okay, so Heavy Lifter is looking at Kroger. Sonia says, I'm working and I'm just listening. Awesome. I love that you guys are just tuning in. Okay, FOA, insiders bought $30 million worth of it yesterday. Nice. Okay, so let's take a look at that in just a minute. Opinion on an STLA. So we'll take a look at STLA here. Hold on, let's see if it'll load. Okay. So a little bit choppy here with the candlesticks. It looks like the candlesticks are a little bit choppy, maybe due to some low volume or whatnot. So it looks like actually the average volume is around 5 million, so not too bad. A little over 5 million, actually. And so it's not too bad. Nice big uptrend here that we've gotten. And it's bouncing off the trend line nicely. But I want to be a little bit careful because these moving averages are quite far away. So remember, when the uptrend is first starting, well, I should say when the uptrend is still new, well, we got that crossover of the yellow and the purple line. So the yellow line comes up and crosses over that purple, and the stock is exploding at that point. It does pull back into the purple line, and then we get a big bounce. But ultimately what happens here is you can see that the yellow and the purple line at one point were touching because they crossed over. And then they kind of expanded and got far away from each other, and then they pulled back together. But now they're expanding really far away from each other. So that's kind of a sign that the uptrend could start ending soon, because the yellow and the purple line are so far away. I wonder if there's like an example I can give you of that, just to hold on. I'm just going to reload this because I think that my system is going a little bit slow. But let me teach you something about that, about these moving averages, that I think will really help you out spacing your trades. Okay, so let me help you out with that. James, for FOA, dude, let me take a look at that, by the way. Finance of America. Yeah, I saw this one too. So that one's up about 13.8% on the day. That thing has been killing it. Just be a little bit careful. We have declining moving averages there. So we might want to be a little bit, careful with that, because that can get dangerous when we're trying to bet against the trend here. However, I did see that insider activity. It's incredible. Also, yesterday, Judy found another insider trade that I'm going to potentially look into for you guys today that I think could be pretty big. So, okay, so hopefully Shogun, that helped. Hopefully James, that those responses helped. Let me know, guys, if you want more clarification on those. All right. Man, my thing is just going so slow today. I don't know why, but for some reason, I'm having a hard time loading up these stocks. Stocks have been going real slow here. It's hard for me to pull up a chart. Okay, so Microsoft was up in this wedge here, guys. And it really kind of depends on how this wedge is going to play out. But I say it's bearish. I say this is actually a bearish wedge. Wouldn't be surprised, to say the least. I wouldn't really be surprised if Microsoft dropped back down to 210. Just based on this charting pattern, and if it actually plays out the way that these types of patterns normally go, then Microsoft will end up at 210 or so. Okay, damn, dude. This software is going really slow right now. So I do not want to really deal with this. And in fact, I'm just going to post my watch list as is. And if I update this for you guys, I'll let you know. But right now it's like, dude, I'm not going to spend a half hour trying to just wait for this computer to load so that I can freaking, pull up a watch list. Anyway, this is kind of my 4 stock watch list here for the time being. But damn, dude, this thing is going really, 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 really slow. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, NVIDIA is bearish. Microsoft is bearish. Oh, Verizon was the other actually bullish one. So we'll take a look at this here, and I'll see. There's a way I can load this a little bit better, but for now, I can't even like switch over to my position. This would be terrible if I was, in here. But I mean, guys, this is like literally so slow. I don't want to deal with this. Especially if, you got money on a trade. This is not going to be good, right? I'm going to close this out. I have to close this trade, guys, because I don't know what's going to happen here. And if it's going too slow, I'm not going to be able to respond the way I need to. So I'm going to have to close this Apple trade for a profit. Okay. So what I want to do instead is I want to teach you guys, I want to teach you guys really quickly, okay, about that moving average thing. So, all right. So here we go, guys. Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. I am going to open up a whiteboard here for us. And that way I can kind of get to teaching you guys, and we'll do more of a educational based stream here where I'm going to do some training with you guys. This will be exciting. Yeah, so unfortunately I wish that, you know, I could do a couple more live trades with you guys, but it looks like the thing is going pretty slow. So even my OBS is dead right now. Okay, let's see. There we go. Okay, cool. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this then. Of course, this thing is going to be stupid as fuck right now. Hold on, guys. Give me a minute because this thing, of course, does not want to work. There we go. You're joking me, right? Man, why? I don't know why things don't want to work today, guys. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties, but for some reason this won't turn sideways. It just does that. It doesn't, you know, it turns sideways, but it still stays portrait. So I don't know why it's doing that. Like, I don't know how to really fix that. That's just so stupid. It's really frustrating. Come on, dude. I don't know why it's, guys, I don't know why, what's really going on right now. Okay, just give me a sec, guys. Just give me 2 seconds. I don't know why it's doing this or why it's not really working. Okay. I don't think it's going to work, guys. I don't really know why. It's just not really turning, and it's not going to help me out right now. So I'm going to try one thing. I'm just going to try to restart my tablet, and if this doesn't work, then I don't really have anything I can help with, unfortunately. Technical difficulties. Gotta love them. Hope you guys are all doing well this morning. My trading software is glitching, so it's going really, really slow, and I can't really show you guys stocks over there. My iPad is also glitching, so hopefully this helped the issue, but we will see. If not, then we're kind of out of luck for the morning. Okay, looks like we're good. All right. There we go. Perfect. All right, so it looks like I got it to work. Really testing my patience this morning. But anyway, here we go. So what I wanted to teach you guys about is, you know, using these moving averages here, and I'm actually going to switch these over. So as you guys may or may not know, oh, check that out. Now my pencil doesn't work. There we go. 21. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm adjusting the settings of my moving averages here, right? So what you're seeing here with my, and I'm just going to go to a stock like Apple, by the way. I'm just going to go to Apple really quick and use this as an example. So I just really quickly want to go over this because you've got, and I'm going to get rid of these trend lines really quick, but I have a couple of different tools that I'm using on this chart. Okay, so the first tool that I'm using is I'm using this right up here, this moving average, right? So this red line right there, that is called a simple moving average. And these moving averages are very similar to, you know, when you were in high school and you had that report card, right? And the report card would say A, and A. So 5 classes, you get all A's, is a 4.0 GPA, right? And that's the goal. You want to have a 4.0. It means you have a perfect record. Now, that's for report card number 1, right? So you get report card number 1 and you have a 4.0. Now, let's say that the next semester you go to school and we get another report card back for the next semester. And earlier, you know, we set the bar at a 4.0 GPA based on our last report card. Now, on this report card, we get A, we get 4 A's, but this time we get 1 C minus. So that means that our GPA is going to go down because this C, right, is going to bring down the score. The overall, the average is going to go down now, right? It sucks, but it, you know, this lower score here brings the average down. Okay, so this is kind of what a moving average is that you have every day, okay, you're going to have day 1, day 2, day 3, right? So as the days go on in the market, this a certain stock like Apple, for example, what we're looking at, is going to close at different prices for each day. So maybe on day 1, Apple closes at $150. And then day 2, it closes at $150. And day 3, it closes at $150. So the stock has been staying flat the entire time. Maybe there's some fluctuation, but overall, it stays at this 150 every day when it closes, right? So maybe we have some, you know, some fluctuation, but it's closed at 150 for every day. Okay. Now on this 4th and final day, right? Let's say that Apple, you know, goes down to 140. So it drops down to 140 on that final day. Well, that moving average, which was at 150, is now going to go down like this, right? So this stock brings the moving average down and vice versa, because if that final day Apple closed at 160, so $10 higher, then what would happen is that, so this would be 160 now. What would happen is that this stock would now skyrocket up and the moving average would follow it. The moving average would also go up. So the stock's price, right, depending on if the stock is going up or down, is going to dictate whether the moving average is going up or down. So as you can see all these candlesticks right here? So the candlestick, so this red line, right, is moving up simply because the candlesticks are above that line, right? Now, when the candlesticks start going below the line for a little bit over here, you can see that this red line actually flattens out. It's no longer going up because the candlesticks are under. But then the candlesticks get back above the line again, and therefore the line starts rising, right? So this moving average, what it does is, because if you were to measure these candlesticks, there's a lot of fluctuation in the prices, right? Because these candlesticks are so volatile, right? It's just like every day it's going a different direction. And so what's happening here is that the stock is itself, the actual price is very volatile. What this moving average does is it smooths out all of the data, right? Because a lot of times when something is so volatile, it's hard to know which direction it's trending. Because if it's constantly going like this, it's like, well, I don't know what the trend is. This is just, it's going all over the place. So I don't know what the trend is. With a moving average, it's much easier because you just literally are looking at the line. And if it's moving up, you know you're in an uptrend. If it's flat, you don't really have a particular trend. And if it's going down, you know that the market is overall, or that stock in particular, is overall downtrending, right? So the stock price itself dictates the direction of the MA. So if the MA is moving up, we know we have a general uptrend in the stock price. Okay, so what is the strategy when I'm looking to buy a stock? Well, the strategy is that I want the moving averages going up, right? So the red line is moving up. You could see the blue line is also moving up. It's not moving up as steep, but it's still moving up, right? So this is flat, this is down. This is actually moving slightly up if you look closely, right? So both moving averages are going up, okay? So this is very, very key, right? I want both of these to be going upward like that, right? Because when that is happening, when both of the moving averages are pointing up or they're trending up, you're going to notice something with the stock. So for example, let's go over here. This is back in November, but it gives a really clear example of exactly what I mean. So whenever the red moving average is going up like this, the blue moving average is going up like this, okay? And the stock, you're going to notice that when this is happening, when the blue line is going up and the red line is going up at the same time, what does the stock do? The stock bounces off of the red line. The red line becomes a support level, right? So this is good because if the stock pulls back, I know that we have a high chance that the stock is going to do what? Bam, it's going to start moving up. Bam, bam, right? So what this actually does is it creates a support level where I know that I could be placing my orders after the stock has pulled back. Okay, so check this out, right? Let's make this super, super simple and very easy to digest. Okay, for all of you guys, I know some of you guys are beginners. So look, very, very simple. Step one, I have to look for a stock where, you know, the moving averages are going up. Okay, so that's right here. Red moving average going up. Blue moving average going up. So that's checked off, right? That's step number one, right? Is everybody clear with that? Everybody say yes, if that makes sense, okay? Everybody say yes, if that makes sense. Boom. Okay, there's step one. Now, step two is that all I have to do now is I just have to wait for the stock to do what? To pull back. Okay, so once I have this moving up, all I have to do is wait for the stock to do what? Pull back, pull back, pull back. Because the stock is going to pull back, right? And it's going to interact with that red moving average there, right? This one right here. It's going to interact with that. And then as the stock interacts with that red moving average there, check this out. See how the stock pulled back into the red line and bam. Stock pulls back into the red line and bam. Stock pulls back into the red line and bam. Okay, stock pulls back into the red line and bam. Okay, so we have multiple opportunities here. These are all entry points. These are all going to be my entry points. Does everybody see how that works? And by the way, notice that with this strategy here, okay, I am not buying a stock after it's already gone up 200%. I'm not buying a stock after it's already gone up 50%. I'm waiting for the stock to come back down first, right? So I'm buying low. Guys, like buying low, selling high. That's the name of the game, right? That's what we want to do every time. We want to buy low And then when the stock goes up, that's when we sell it. So what happens with a lot of people, the reason why they make so many mistakes, especially beginners, and why beginners lose a lot of money, is because they're buying high. They're looking for stock. They're only getting into a stock after it gets exciting, right? Like the whole name of stocks is that you buy before other people. So if a stock has already gone up because everybody's buying it, when you buy in, you're being the sucker. Okay, you're buying the shares off of the people that bought it much lower who are now selling it because it's already gone up 100%. You know, so I have some of you guys who have seen me talking about these insider picks and they've been going up a lot. You know, the Pixis trade obviously exploded. The PRTK trade exploded. The BRN trade exploded. NGL still kind of hanging out, but it's not, you know, I might grab that one a little bit lower, retry it later. But 3 out of 4 of those have popped insanely high overnight. And a lot of people have asked me, hey, do I still get into this? Or hey, should I still buy? Dude, the stock already went up 30 to 100%. Why would you buy now? You know, you're becoming the sucker. You're becoming the person that you're trying to sell to, right? Like when you buy a stock after it's already gone up 100%, then you officially are the person that people like me are trying to sell to, okay? Because you're way late and you still think that the stock is going to go up. So I go, yeah, you know, I'm up 100%. So you want to buy the shares? Okay, you know, I'm up 100% on these. Go ahead. I'm going to sell these to you, right? So basically to me, I think you're being an idiot, but I'm willing to sell it to you because you're willing to buy it. So the thing is that when you do that, when you chase after a stock after it's already gone up 100%, just know that there's people who are more than happy to sell you their shares because they're already up so much and you're just getting in right now. That's what I'm saying, okay? So with this strategy here, what are we doing? We are not buying after it's too late. What am I doing? I'm waiting for the stock to do this. I'm waiting for the stock to do that, or that, or that, right? I'm waiting for it to come down first, not up. I'm waiting for it to go down first. You guys see what I'm saying? Does that all make sense? So I'm waiting for the pull. I have the setup with my moving averages, and then I wait for the pullback, okay, into my moving average. That's moving up. Okay? Is everybody cool with this so far? So far, so good? Okay? Because there's one last thing here that I want to, you know, teach you guys. Okay? So everybody's cool with all of that so far, right? Sonia says that makes sense. Good, 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 good. Okay, good. All right. Okay. So let's move on to the third and final step. So, you know, one issue that you might run into is, you know, we might have the perfect setup here. So let me actually draw this really quickly. So we might have the perfect setup, meaning, you know, the 21 moving average is going up like this. So that's good. My 180 moving average is moving up like this. So good. You know, step one was, remember, what was step one, guys? We want the MAs going up, right? So we want the moving averages doing this. Now, step two, after I found the setup, the correct setup, is I'm waiting for the pullback now, right? So a stock could be doing this, coming up, kind of hits that peak there, and it's starting to pull back. Okay. So now I have the setup, moving averages are going up. Step two is happening because now I'm getting the pullback here. Right? But now this leaves me with my third and final step, right? Now, step three because, you know, the stock can be pulling back, but, you know, what happens, like, if I am just looking at the pullback and I go, okay, so it's pulling back, moving averages are rising, how do I know, like, if I buy this bar right here, how do I know that the stock is not just going to break through the moving average and moving down? How do I know that the stock is going to bounce off of that MA versus breaking through it and continuing to fall? Because if I bought right there, this is a trap, right? So now I just trapped myself, right? So I trapped myself into thinking that we were going to get a bounce here, but instead it broke through and continued coming down. Okay? So how do I know if I'm going to get a breakout or if I'm going to get a bounce? Okay. Well, remember, okay. Yeah. Sonia, see this? She's already getting ahead of me a little bit here. Okay. So she already knows what I'm going to say, but this is very, very important, right? Is that when this is starting to pull back, right? Guys, do I want to buy the red? Okay. Let me ask you a question. Do I buy the red candlestick here? Well, red means that the sellers are in control. Red means that the sellers are dominant. Okay, the buyers have not stepped in yet. They might have stepped in a little bit, but not enough to produce green bars. Okay, so now that I'm in near the moving average, right? I've already got the pullback. The moving averages are moving up. I already got the pullback. Now my last and final step is, remember, I do not want to buy these reds. Right? The red means that the buyers are still coming in, right? So I need that last step, which is the buyable signal, which is what color? If I'm looking for a bounce, what does my buyable signal look like, guys? What does my buyable signal look like? Well, obviously it's not red. So if I get this pullback here, that's not the candle I buy, is it? I need to wait for which color? Ding, 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 ding. Right? Once I get the green, and by the way, my buyable signal does not look like that. My buyable signal looks like this. Okay? So once I get that buyable signal there, that's my entry. Okay, so I'm waiting for a few things. I need to have the proper setup. Okay, so look how simple. See how simple this is? It's not easy, but it is I'm making this very simple for you guys. So look, we have the right setup because the moving averages are going the right way. I have the correct, I've waited for the pullback, so I'm not chasing after the stock after it already exploded. I'm waiting for the stock to pause and then pull back in towards my strike zone, right? Now, once the stock is in the strike zone because it's pulling back into that moving average that it's likely to bounce off of, I need to wait for that final confirmation or that signal. And what does that look like? It's not a red bar. It's a green buyable signal. So guys, remember, these buyable signals, what do those look like? I want you to know what to watch out for. Remember that the buyable signals to watch out for. Okay, there's 3 of them, right? So the first one, it's like a giant green bar like this, right? So if you see candlesticks that are normally this big, and then all of a sudden, you get something that's like 2 to 3 times the size of normal candlesticks, and all of a sudden, it's just this big, tall, green bar compared to everything on its left. Okay, that is a massive, massive size candlestick that's coming in. That right there is a buyable signal because, guys, remember that people like me and you, right? Let's just say that this is me or you, it doesn't matter. If we took all of the money that we had and we put it into Apple stock, and Apple, we buy Apple stock at $150 per share. Let's say that I take $10,000 of my own money and I only buy Apple stock. I take $10,000 all at the same time, and I only buy Apple stock with it when it's trading at $150 a share. Is Apple going to move up? Because remember, when people start buying stock, the price rises. But if I'm only using about $10,000, it's really not going to move the stock even a penny. Like, the stock is not even going to go to $150.01. It's not even going to move because this is a very small amount. Remember, there's millions of shares of Apple that get traded every day. So my $10,000 is not even going to move the stock. So what that means is that in order to get a bar that looks like this big green tall bar, in order to even, for that bar to even exist, for that bar to even develop, we need a big institution to come in. Okay? These big institutions that are trading with hundreds of millions of dollars every week, okay, those are the institutions that can actually produce a bar of this size. That's the only way we get it. We don't get a bar like that from people like me and you. We only get a bar that looks like this when oftentimes there are multiple institutional investors simultaneously putting money into that stock. Bam! All at the same time. You get this big bar that forms, right? So this means that those institutional players are starting to step in, right? They're starting to step in. Okay. So that's buyable signal right there because though I know that those institutional investors are starting to buy into the trade as well. So that's number one, is that we have this big, tall, giant bar that, remember, can only be produced by the big whales of the stock market. The second one is the tail bar. Okay, so if you have a bar that's green and it's got a big tail on the bottom, that's a buyable signal. It also works if the bar is red. So what I mean is that if you have a bar like this, it's got a long tail coming out of the bottom. Remember, these tail bars right there, they have the tails on the bottom. These are very bullish candlesticks, right? These are very bullish. Even if it's red, it can be green or it can be red. It doesn't really matter because either way, if it has the long tail on the bottom, it means it's bullish, right? So we have a lot of buying pressure. So I would say that you have your big green bar, you have your green tail bar, and then you also have the red tail bar. So each one of these is a buyable signal, okay? So this is what I'm looking for at the strike zone. So if I have my moving averages, right, there's my 21 MA, my 180 MA. So these are both moving up. So the setup is there. Check. That's step one. Step two is I need to wait for the pullback, right? And then step three is I need to wait for my signal / confirmation to get in. So stock is pulling back. There's step two. Now I just need to wait for that buyable signal. So once the stock comes in here, I need to either wait for a tail bar. It can also be a red tail bar, or I need to wait for that giant green to form for me to see that that is a buyable signal. And once I get that signal, that's where I go ahead and I step into the trade to make sure that, again, the whole reason I'm doing this is that I don't step into a trade that's just going to break through and continue falling towards the 180. Right? So that's the whole point of making sure that I confirm everything and don't just jump on the trade too early, okay? So I hope that helps out, guys. That's one of the big things that I like to do when I'm trading and making sure that I'm, getting the best trades possible, right? So hopefully that makes sense for you guys, okay? Okay. I don't think that I have any questions other than that. So guys, I'm going to post the replay for this. If you have any questions, you can let me know in the chat room. I'm available 24/7 with you guys. Yeah, Ulta Beauty like this, it has the right setup, but notice that the pullback didn't happen yet. Right, exactly. So that's why you have to be very selective. Guys, be very picky, right? I want you guys to be picky with your trades. I want you to be picky with your investments. Like, do not put money into something unless it is absolutely perfect, right? Absolutely perfect. Because once you start compromising and saying, it has the right setup, it has the pullback, but I'm not going to wait for the signal, that's when mistakes happen. Or if you say, look, the setup is almost there, so I'm going to trade this. No, it needs to be pristine. So, take these things that I taught you guys, go look at some charts and practice this, right? Go through some charts and practice. That's how you're really going to make this knowledge so much deeper, is by going out and finding charts that have this exact setup that we talked about and practicing it, right? So I hope that this helps out, guys. If you have any questions, like I said, hit me up. More than happy to help. And I'll see you guys tomorrow morning when we do our next live trading class. So thank you all for joining in. I'll see you guys soon. By the way, guys, be on the lookout on Discord, because I am going to be putting out some alerts on new insider trades that I'm looking into today for some potential moves. So thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys later on. Take it easy.